Yes, we're live. We're live. I do apologise. I do apologise, everyone. There's been technical hitches. There's been little things that get in the way. You'd think we'd have all the time in the world being on a lockdown, but far from it. Been running up and down like a blue ass fly. So I do apologise about that. Thank you very much for jumping on, whether you're watching now or retrospectively. This is a quite it's an interview stroke live stream I've been wanting to do for a long while. This is a lady that so intrigues me that is doing some sterling work and has got a bright future in front of her. And I think everyone needs to really support the intentions of what this lady is trying to achieve. Now, Katie and I, decided to arrange a meet several weeks ago. Thanks to Great Brit for putting us in touch. So after we heard about the lockdown, obviously the meeting had to be kind of cancelled until such time we could probably get together. Now, it was interesting because the meeting we'd already preconceived what we was going to do, and it was going to make it such an interesting meeting. And it was going to be on a day like this where it's been gorgeous blue skies. We was going to have a walk and talk in the area that not only Katie Jayne comes from, but is very close to her heart as well. So what I would like to say, I know we're all on lockdown here, so I know we're all pretty much watching from our geographical location in a laptop or whatever, sat in your freaking room, on the bog, wherever you are. But what I want you to consider the thought of, still want to keep in mind the walk and talk. So imagine this live stream being conducted as a walk and talk, mobilizing round pivotal spots in Salford. That's all I wanted to say on that, because I was really looking forward to it. Katie Jayne was looking forward to it, and the lockdown bleeding come. But thank you all for jumping on. Much appreciated. Yes. Children Matter.news is in the house. Thank you. Thank you very much. Right. Okay, let's get to it. I'm going to introduce this next lady. This next lady has been doing remarkable work. And yesterday, this lady tried something that was very innovative. And I would say it went over really well. I thoroughly enjoyed what I did watch of it. I fully appreciate the work, the time, and the effort all parties actually made into making that happen as well. So it was brilliant news, and it just coincided with the fact that we'd not actually properly had this chat yet. So I thought we would marry the two together. So with that, I hope Katie Jayne Swallow is in the building, because now I'm going to put her on camera. Yes, Katie.
Hi. I have been trying to fiddle the camera around, but I'm going to have to move again. Hi. It's so zoomed in. I'm so far away from the camera. I'm more than hands. I'm probably 2 arms length away from the camera, and it's still zoomed in. So I do apologise.
Wow. How's that happened? Because it does look like you sat right on top of the camera here.
It's really shit camera.
You need to get right back to the far end of the room and start shouting if need be.
You're basically on my windowsill, and I'm a bit away from my desk, away from you.
Right. So we have got the social distancing in mind then with the camera.
Oh, of course. It's been well thought out.
Well, I'd like to say thank you for taking the time out to jump on here, Katie. It's been a pleasure talking with you over the past few weeks. But over the weeks where we've been hopefully trying to get together the pre-lockdown, there were so many different topics that we wanted to discuss, and I personally felt that I couldn't wait to get on this stream to talk about what you've been doing and basically what you were doing pre-Children Matter as well. So with that, how are you doing? How's the lockdown been for you? And where's your mindset at this moment in time?
Well, to be fair, I've been all right with the lockdown because I suffer with anxiety anyway. So going out, it's not been as bad because there's not as many people on the streets. However, I've also seen the other side of it because I have been stuck in a house with my partner, his 5-year-old, and his mother. So it's been high tension for a few days.
Right.
But, you know, it's made us all bond a bit better. I mean, we've had to put up with each other, you know, without being able to get rid of each other for a while. And for the first few weeks, Zach was a key worker anyway, doing food deliveries. So I was helping him and going out with him. So it was, you know, we were getting through it.
Right.
And it's given me more time on the campaign, to be honest. I need to start taking advantage of it.
But are you taking time for yourself as well? I mean, it's all good being passionate and really going gun-ho on a campaign, but you've got to give yourself some time as well. What do you do that's considered your time?
Sleep.
Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that.
I mean,
Right.
if I'm honest, like growing up, I've been the eldest cousin, so I had to look after the younger ones because we were all at my grand's and all dropped off and picked up and waited for our parents to come home from work. Oh, bear with me a sec. Sorry, I can hear my door knocking. Bear with me 2 seconds. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. No problem at all. Shizzle happens, doesn't it, folks? Well, thanks a lot for jumping on. Anyway, guys, I see Zero News, Neil, Whitmore, David Banner. Yes, how we doing, guys? Good to have you all on. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Zero, share the arse off this. Share the arse off Children's Matter. You know, share the arse off the idea, the ideological idea of uniting, truly uniting. And I don't just mean that as a frivolous word, a throwaway word. I'm on about truly uniting to cover the points that we cover, which mainly revolves around abuse, trauma, intimidation, fear. It's got to be done by truly uniting, non-political, non-partisan. Yes, Katie's back in the room. How you doing?
Sorry about that. My neighbours have put a barbecue on today and they were just bringing me around some more food.
All right, okay then. So at least you got your supper sorted. Sweet.
You know what? They've been fucking amazing. It's one of the things that have just made today just great because we've hit 1,000 subscribers today. We managed to get a couple of people on Coffee Morning who normally wouldn't come on another like a different live for just a chat.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been to see my cousin today. I've not seen my cousin in over a year. So and yeah, I get along with my neighbours. I've got along with my neighbours like first time properly since my kids were here really, because we've all just avoided me in the situation since everything happened because it's a sensitive subject and people assume that I'm not all right talking about it when I am because I didn't do anything wrong. So yeah.
Yeah, but no, I guess people will feel that way, won't they? It's like walking on eggshells a little bit.
It's like I said to them, like we spoke first time properly a couple of weeks ago, and I just said to them, I said, look, at the end of the day, I've been on eggshells around everyone else as well, and I'd have thought the exact same. I did think the exact same before it happened to me. So I completely understand why people think that. I completely understand where people's frame of mind are and where their opinions are. I get it. Right. I was there. I was one of those people. Through court, I was still trying to convince myself that, either there must be something there in my past, in my history, or, something I don't even know about. But I could never find anything. Sorry, I'm going off in a little bit.
No. Honestly, people want this. I mean, we've kind of gone off a little bit, but it's great because people want that little bit of an introduction. But can we start where we talked about how we were going to start? Because I think this will really be interesting for a lot of people. Where I would like to start, Katie, is the segment in your life before you started to see the miscarriages, injustice, the misdealings, when maybe life was going well, or maybe when you questioned your own life and, your relationships, whatever. But when all the negative stuff started happening, thus then making you question what is going on, thus then making you get your passion and stepping up and doing this. So can you paint the picture for us of that kind of timeline of just before any of this happened, and where you was, what you were doing? Yeah, it's rude to ask a lady her age, but I think it's rather important that people know your age at this point. I'm sorry to say that, but just so people can get a picture of what it was like and what you were up to.
Well, I'll try and speed it up so I can because I've had a couple different backgrounds. I grew up, first before my mum married my first stepdad, when I was about 6 months old. So I had a very middle-class background. My grandma used to take me to opera, to ballet, to theatre. We used to go on holiday to Tenerife a couple of times a year. We always went down to Blackpool. She used to teach me to bake, to knit, to sew, to make my own things and to actually do something for myself. She's who my daughter's named after. She's called Christine Swanton. She's absolutely amazing woman. I mean, when she found out she was dying, she organised her own funeral. She sent out everyone's invitations. She organised everything herself. She was a single mum of 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. She run 2 different jobs. She works in high school as well. Bolton High School. My grandma's tapestry is up in there that she used to sew and that she used to knit. She used to work there as well. And then my mum and him split up. So me and my mum came into a council background, actually around the corner from where I actually live now. We were like that for a couple of years. It was fine. My brother stayed at his dad's most of the time. I was staying at my mum's most of the time. Started to question it around the age of 11 when my eldest younger sister was born. I started to question why he treated her and Connor like his own kids and me like his strangers' kids. My birthday every year, without fail, on my birthday, it was a barbecue. Whether it was raining or not, they had a barbecue where my parents invited their work colleagues and my friends weren't invited.
Really?
Work colleagues and family, yeah.
Right. Okay. So how would that make you feel back then? I mean,
I used to hate it. I absolutely used to hate it because my brother would get a party, my sisters would get parties, and it'd frustrate me. So when they split up and he was going on to have his, what I'd later found out, first daughter, I started questioning why he was treating me different. My mum got round the boyfriend that she'd been seeing for a couple of years, who a soldier. She later married him. Her older brother, his wife, their 2 kids, and I had my later stepdad's 2 nieces there as well. When I found out the dad who'd raised me, my brother's dad, wasn't my biological one.
Wow.
I asked if I could be the one to tell my brother. I didn't want them telling him. I didn't want anyone else telling him.
How old were you when you found this?
I was 11.
Right. So that's a lot to deal with.
I thought they were joking at first. I started laughing at them.
Right.
I genuinely thought they were joking. They were just taking the piss and just taking the mick out of, because I'm the only ginger in the family.
So how did they actually come to tell you? I mean, what was it, if you don't mind me asking, what was the circumstances to that? Because that's
I was getting really upset and frustrated that my dad was paying more attention to my brother and my sister. That when I was going around there, I was just there to do the chores and to stay out of the way and keep the others out of the way. And I was there for one of my birthdays. I think it's the last picture I've actually got with. No, it's like one of the last pictures I've got with my dad. Sat in Liverpool at the pier, and I had this bench jacket on. That was my only birthday present I got off my dad, and I hadn't seen him for 2 years beforehand because my mum and my second stepdad took me to Germany with them. I'd come back on holiday. It cost $44.99. I paid £20 toward it.
So you could clearly see that you just wasn't valued as a family member, you know?
My brother's birthday's March, mine's June. My brother got £300 in his room redone. And a couple of months later, 6 months later, what I got, just over half of a present bought for me, which I didn't even want anyway because I don't like pink, and it had bright pink writing all around it.
No, what's very striking there, I mean, most parents won't want to admit to having a favourite, but I guess there'll be a bonding on some level.
Oh, my whole family can tell you. On my step-family side, the family that raised me, my whole family can tell you. Even though my cousins, if you asked them who the favourite was, they'd give you my brother's name. So
why was that? Was it something charming about your brother, or was it something that you were misunderstood about with all the family?
Well, they're strict Catholic, but he was the first boy. And when he was born, he had me and my brother have both got like ginger blonde hair with bright bleach blonde streaks in naturally. I've got one at the front of my head here, where you can see that it's lighter. When I shave it, it looks completely baldier. And where my hair starts to go blue instead of purple. It was all purple. So I've got 2 bleached blonde streaks that come either side. My brother had one that went right round his head like a halo. And with my grandma being strict Catholic, she was taking him to church to get him blessed.
Did she actually think that was that? Do you reckon that was a significant factor?
I do, yeah. I mean, if you ask my brother fucking hates it. He like you'd be lucky to get 2 words out of my brother in conversation.
Right.
I'm the person he speaks to the most out of the family when he does speak to them, and I can just about get a conversation out of him.
How ironic is that? If he's regarded as the favourite, but what you're saying is you're the more eloquent and probably the more approachable out the 2, but yet he was still regarded as a favourite.
I'm not blood.
Well, I guess that's what it boils down to. But should that matter?
When my granddad was alive, it didn't matter. My grandma got caught out a couple of times by my mum and my granddad, maybe my step granddad, because she'd go to introduce me and Megan because we were the oldest, and she'd introduce me as Sarah's daughter, and she'd introduce Megan as her granddaughter, and my granddad would turn around and go, "No, this is my granddaughter, my eldest granddaughter, and this is my youngest granddaughter." And my granddad had always put her in a place. Once he died, it kind of slowly revolted back into that.
Right.
It's like when I was pregnant with my son, me and my cousin Meg, we are just like each other.
Yeah.
We've lived with each other practically our whole lives. There's only 2 years difference between us both. We're both seen as the black sheep of the family because both our mums divorced our dads. Our dads are our step grandma's kids. So, but because she's blood, I'm not, she gets away with more. And when I was pregnant, we had a bit of disagreement. I didn't realise she was getting wound up. I was trying to ease the situation, not realising I was escalating it. When I realised, I was starting to avoid her, but then she wanted confrontation, punched me in the stomach, so I defended myself, and it resulted in me being shipped off back to Germany as fast as possible because apparently I instigated it. Even though I walked past my grandma 4 or 5 times while I was trying to walk away from her. I had a metal fucking chair thrown at me. I wasn't even 3 months pregnant. But family.
Well, it is. No, it is. I mean, and a lot of people will identify with exactly what you're saying. This is why it's great. 1, having the courage to talk about it, but 2, doesn't it make you the fucking character that you are? Because this is why I wanted to kind of show the world this, to say, listen, this is the Katie Jayne. This is what's made Katie Jayne, so they can see that from a very early age that you have had to depend on you and you alone. You've been treated almost to a degree what seems like an outcast, a black sheep in the family.
I never saw it like that, though. That's the thing. I never saw any of the bad stuff until they walked away. Because before that, I am the biggest doormat you'll probably come across when it comes to family or friends, because I just want to help. If I can help, even if it is just being there to talk to, then I will help. And it's like that. My cousin I was telling you about then, I've not seen her in just over a year. When I was on the phone to you, I was outside her house. I went in. She's matured so much as well. And I said this to her. I just stood back in awe and just looked at her and just said, "Yo, you've matured so much in such a little time as well." I was straight after I got off the phone with you, and I was sat there thinking, I can see what red pill Phil means now about maturity at young age. It's bad. It's weird.
Yeah, but you've been forced to, isn't it? It's one of them life situations that has forced you to have that element of hardness, element of streetwise, being astute, seeing things, reading into people a little bit more, which is a shame that when you think a kid should be all about innocence, a kid should not be considering them thoughts, a kid should not have to juggle them emotions.
100%. You know? I mean, I don't regret any of my past. I mean, yeah, there's a couple of hiccups and there's a couple of things where, I'll talk to people about it now and they're like, "What, were you their slave?" And it's like, well, no, I was the eldest, so I had the responsibility. My cousins didn't have the responsibility of grilling toast.
Can I just interject here? I've just had a Darren Smith come on and said, "Phil needs to look at the chats or no point." Right, let me tell you now, Darren. No, I don't need to look at the chats. I'm actually doing a live stream with Katie Jayne and I'm trying to get into Katie Jayne's mindset of what is going on. I didn't put this live stream or pose this live stream as an interjection for people with comments. So if you feel that I am not doing what I should be doing, then there's not a lot I can do about that. You're quite welcome to sit in the comment sections. But as far as I'm concerned, this is a two-way connectional interview that I've got with Katie Jayne. So I don't need people on the comment section when both Katie and I are going out of our way to provide some documentative information. That we don't need slaps like that. So I'm sorry to butt in with you there, Katie, but I just don't want this to carry on, okay? This interview, what you've got to say is too important, okay? So if people want to talk later, if they want to leave comments later, that's fine. But right now, I'm having a conversation with Katie. So I apologize, Katie. If you'd like to carry on, please.
That's not a problem. I mean, as I said, I don't see my upbringing as being traumatic or anything like that. I mean, yeah, I've had really shit times, but that's life.
Yeah.
It's like my grandma always used to, raise me to as I say it. My grandma used to always tell me something and tell me always to remember it. And it's something I always try to teach my kids, and it's something I try to live by every day. And it's everyone has a million chances, a million times a day to be that one in a million. You could be that one in a million person to help an old lady cross the road, but you were still that one in a million.
Yes. And
everyone is unique.
Yes. Honestly, it's such a humbling and grounding philosophy to have. And it's so difficult when you see everyone around you or a lot of people around you that don't adhere to it and not even literally on that conscious level. So you know, that's a very wise thing to live by, and it's obviously something that's resonated with you over the years. Swiftly moving on into you going to Germany. Now, how did that come about, and how did that sit with you emotionally with whatever else was going on with your family at that time?
Oh, well, put it this way, I am really shit at remembering stuff, but on the 22nd of June 2008, we moved to Germany. We drove to Germany because the day before, my mum married a soldier. And you know what? I was saying to you before about what my son was called when he was born. The Lee part of that was after him. He was called Shane Lee.
Right, okay, right.
So, you know, that's the significant part because he was the one person who treated me like his daughter. He was the first person who was like my dad. Don't get me wrong, he bollocked me, and he bollocked me good and proper if I was in the wrong. But he was also there for me. Because I was new to military life. I was new to being what they call a pads brat. I was going to a military school where I didn't know anyone.
Sorry, can you explain what that means? I've never heard of that comment.
It's a pads brat. It's what soldiers call soldiers' kids, basically.
Right. Okay.
Because when you're a pad, you're in a pad house, and it's
right. So
it's basically like calling us all spoilt brats. Basically, that's why pads brats hate being called pads brats, which is why the veterans still call it me.
Right. So you were saying, stepdad there, he was the one who he was more even. He had this way where he treated you like you would expect any normal father to treat you, but tough love, nice love, the balance was there, evenly checked.
Yeah, but in a military way. So it's kind of like that, but a bit more to the extreme on the other way. So on good days, we were traveling down to Hyde Park, or we were traveling down to the zoos or the petting zoos, or going to theme parks or roller coasters or whatever. Yeah, they were our good days. Our bad days consisted when I was at my worst, I was I was locked out of my own bedroom, so I had to sleep in my dad's workroom, which consisted of a single bed and a locked wardrobe of my dad's army uniform.
Right.
I had my computer taken off me, and because I decided, fuck it, if you're going to take everything, I'll escalate it. My dad changed my name for a month to teach me a lesson.
He changed your name for a month?
Well, he tricked me into thinking I'd changed my name and made me take the document that he'd edited into school and get it changed on the register.
So what was the name that he gave you then?
Ginger Trixabel.
And you bought that for a month.
Yep.
Wow. Wow. Right. So going back, did he ever actually say to you, or did he ever articulate in any way that he could understand how uneven it was, how you were being treated towards the rest of the family? Was a conversation like that ever brought up?
Yeah, but I never realised. I mean, I'll tell you about the day it was brought up because that is significant. But it took him having a heart-to-heart with me for me to realise what he was doing. But he was trying to make up for it with him and his own family. And he hardly got to see his daughter because his daughter was with the mum in Ireland. So when he was over here, back at his own place and with his mum, which was virtually never, because he's a tour junker, so he goes out on tour constantly.
Right.
Yeah, he tried to make up for that with me, missing with his daughter, but also tried to make up with the fact I wasn't with my brother more than anything else. My brother.
What did your brother think of him?
Oh, my brother loved him to bits. My brother was spoiled because we only saw him a couple of times a year.
Right.
I call the second one my dad. My dad would get my brother to come out more times. He'd pay for him to come out all the time. He'd pay for us to go back. He even paid for my grandma and my brother to come over for 3 weeks to come and spend my birthday with me over there in the summer. So it was a treat for my grandma as well. And he got over my uncle and his family as well. So his wife and 2 kids. He'd spoil my brother rotten though. He would genuinely spoil my brother rotten because my brother was hardly ever over. He would genuinely spoil him rotten. Don't get me wrong, it made me jealous, but when I said before about being bullied, he kept me off. He let me stay off school for a day, last day of the week, just so it made other kids jealous, but also give me and him that one-to-one bonding. And he'd got some alcohol pops in, so he got some alcohol pops in for me, creative alcohol pops, and he got a creative beer in for him. And I was upstairs watching my movies and drinking. And every time I've had to come downstairs to get another one if I wanted another one. And he'd be there whining about going, "Oh, you're behind. You need to hurry up." Just having a laugh with me.
Good bonding.
Yeah, it was amazing though. I wish me and him had a closer bond. But that heart to heart I was telling you about, the reason that heart to heart came about, he just got back off tour not long beforehand. Because my mum had been stuck with me being a little shit because I was in high school, I was young, I was away from my brother and my family and new school. So I was, playing up like standard fucking 12, 13-year-olds do. And my dad had let her go on a night out with the girls, quote girls, on a night out. And the next morning, because she hadn't come back yet, he went to the bakery with our dog to go and get her some, new fresh bread in and everything so he could make a breakfast when she come back because she'd be feeling grim. Yeah. And caught her getting off with the local fucking barkeep.
Gee, awkward.
Well, the next I knew, what? I had my mum coming back in at 8:15 on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Telling me to help her pack her stuff. She's leaving. And she left. She packed some bits. She left. And I was sat in the house for 4 hours on my own. My mum weren't there. My dad weren't there. The dog wasn't even there. I had no idea if anyone was even coming back. When my dad came back, I just broke down because I thought I'd been abandoned. And he just sat with me, cried with me, and we just talked about everything. Because I had no idea what had happened. All I knew was my mum waking me up at stupid o'clock on a Sunday morning at like 13-year-old, being told to help her pack her things. She's leaving. And she walks out the door, and I don't know where anyone else is. My dad's phone's on the side. And
how old would you have been at this point?
About 13, 14.
Right, okay. So then, once that had happened, that conversation with your father, was that a light bulb moment? Was that a changing moment? What were you thinking on top of your life? I didn't want
to go back with my mum. I didn't want to give my mum a second chance because that ended up being the first out of 2 times she walked out. And I wanted to stay with him. I mean, every time me and him have spoke, he always says, "I wish your mum had let me have adopted you."
Well, what was at that point? Was your mother listening to you, or?
Oh no, it was about what my mum wanted. I mean, I was saying to you before, me and my mum do still have issues because of what happened in the past. You know, because of her taking me away from my brother, that was bad enough. And then she took away my only dad, the only man in my life that actually gave a shit about me. Not just man, but parent in my life that gave a shit about me.
So that must have been awful for you when you actually literally moved back. Was you somewhat resentful to your mother initially when you got back, or did you sort it all out?
I still am. She stayed with a guy my dad caught her copping off with.
So it's like you're getting a daily reminder of everything that's ruined what you had that was good.
It was for a couple of years as well. He ended up controlling her for a good couple of years as well.
Oh, so it's not like even in a worse scenario, it's not like he was a better person. Not that you want that, but you know what I mean? It's like, why did that happen? Because he was lovely. How was he with you?
Oh, it's a cunt. I don't use that word, sorry. I hated him. I call him a malacca.
Right.
The reason for that is he's Greek and it's Greek for wanker. So I'm respectful enough to use his own language.
That's fair enough. Freedom of speech. So the father-in-law that's in Germany over this period, is he ever getting in touch? Is he trying to get in touch, or is he just getting on with his life now?
Well, now or when?
Well, when this was all happening, and now, I guess, you know.
Me and him would speak on the sly. Unfortunately, since moving back to the UK, my mum kind of got him to give her money for me, her, and Liam to come back over to the UK, promising to pay it back. I didn't realise she wasn't going to. He doesn't blame me for it. He doesn't ask me for it back because I've told him I'd pay him back for it because at the end of the day, he's my dad. But he's always said he was well prepared for her doing that beforehand. I mean, she's completely different now, so I've got to give her a dues. I mean, since losing the kids and me walking away for a few years and then my brother growing up, she's kind of realised that, no, if she wants a relationship with us, then she's going to have to work with us in one way or another. Okay,
so is she actively trying now? Do you see that the relationship may be getting better, or is there improvements?
I think the relationship's at where I'm comfortable with it being, to be honest. I got her a couple of Mother's Day presents, but that wasn't really for her. That was the fact that I kept walking into the shop, seeing them, and it was hurting too much. So I bought some to make myself feel less painful. And got them for her because it'd make her feel better as well at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, we phone up like once a month, once every 2 months, something like that, make sure we're both still kicking, and then check in, see if she's heard from my brother, and then I try and phone my brother to tell him to ring her.
Right. So your brother's pretty much the same. He kind of just gets on with his own life now.
He's just had his first year in the RAF.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Doing well.
It's hard to believe he's just turned fucking 20. You've actually seen a video of him, to be honest.
I did, yeah, on the it was
video.
Great bit. Yes, the birthday video. Yes, tell him he needs to work on his recording. That was a shite recording, Katie.
That is the most conversation you will ever see at him at any point. I said to him, you're lucky to get 1 or 2 words out of him.
Right.
That was me pushing him. You've got to do something for your niece for her birthday, or you will regret it.
It's like he recorded it in a washing machine. I'm like, what's going on here? Is he rubbing the bottom of the phone? Does he think it's a freaking Aladdin's lamp or something? It's like, what's going on? There's like kind of noise.
Oh no, he's in the barracks at the minute, so he's sharing the room with 4 other people, and I'd literally woke him up and told him to do the video, so he just threw on whatever he had, did the video, and went back to bed.
This will have to do, just whatever.
Oh no, I am a complete and utter dick. I'm nice to other people, but to my mum and my brother, I can be a dick. My brother, for example, on his birthday, I rung him up at the crack of dawn just to scream down his ear, "Happy birthday!" He said, "What?" And I said, "Right, bye," and went straight back off again. Every year on my mum's birthday, I ring her and ask her how it feels to be 1 step closer to the grave. They get me back. I get ginger jokes constantly.
That's some banter you got going backwards and forwards there, isn't it? That's good for the old morale, that, isn't it? Good morale boosting banter.
Tell you what, though, you cannot grow up with the military without understanding the humour, because they go above and beyond when it comes to their humour. Like, they've had house parties at ours when they've had birthdays or anything when we were in Germany, and bloody hell. after he sent the kids to bed, me and the rest of the kids would lie on the fucking landing listening to the shit that'd go on downstairs.
Yeah, I can imagine. You know, honestly, that's another stream that altogether. I think the stories you could tell there. So when you get back, let's move on now to your new life, the life that you build as an adult.
If we can, there is something that you said about what got me to this point.
Yes.
There is a significant part that happened which gave me which without it I probably wouldn't be as level-headed as what I am. 20th of April 2013, my late fiance was hit in a road traffic accident. I was in the car behind him with his dad and his sister, and I was the one that was there the longest because he had to take his sister back and get his mum. We went to school in Germany together. We were together through me being in care in Germany, and he saved me from my son's dad.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So, how was it? How bad was the accident?
It killed him on scene. I've suffered with PTSD since then. He died at 20th of April at 2000 hours. He was 20 years old, and it was the day I turned 20 weeks pregnant.
My God.
It's actually still in the newspapers and everything. Well, not still in newspapers, but I can see if I can find it if you want. Yeah, I've got his name actually tattooed on my arm.
Bloody hell. That must have been amazingly traumatic at that time when that happened.
If I wasn't pregnant with my son at the time, I would have killed myself. I tried at one point.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I always say I owe my son my life, because if it weren't for the fact that I was pregnant with my son, I wouldn't be here.
So being pregnant obviously was a key factor in your lowest point there. Was there anyone else around who was providing any support for you as you was growing? What about your family? Well, whilst all this was going on, how was they treating you? How was they getting in touch? What was that like?
It's been different in different areas. You know, people who have wanted to be there for me just haven't. People who, you know, I've never expected to actually be there, you know, and help me through everything, you know, they've surprised me. I found the article, but there's one issue with me putting it up. It's got fucking adverts all around the fucking side of it, and they're not exact. But yeah, it is on there. If you just type in Kieran Stephen Lovell, Leconfield, it comes up. But it says the incident happened at 20:40 hours on Saturday, 20 April, at Boxmouth, 300 metres north of the junction with Dre Drive. It says on it, being ridden by 20-year-old Kieran Stephen Lovell.
So tragic.
What pisses me off most about it is the lack of sensitivity by the person who committed it and his family. It was only... I just got back. I just got safe from my son's dad. Just got out of Germany, back to him 3 days before he died. The day he died, that was the first day me and his family have ever got along. We were together nearly 5 years. Because I was a care kid, I was automatically labelled a care kid. You know? And that was the first day we had proper got along with him. And he'd proposed to me that day as well. I mean, it was the third time he proposed to me because, you know, us being young at that time anyway, you know, he proposed to me once at a bus stop because he knew it'd embarrass me because of my anxiety. The second time he decided to up it one and do it at one of Germany's busiest train stations in Munster.
So was he trying to play on your anxieties to force you to say yes? Was that the whole idea behind that?
No, while we were in school together, we used to play pranks on each other constantly. Right. And because he was sixth form and I was year 8 when we were in school. We didn't date in school; we dated after we left. But it's like the lads used to try and put the girls in bins, you know, if they pissed them off. Yeah. And I was one of the only ones they couldn't, because every time they tried and got near me, I didn't care if I fought dirty. I wasn't stinking of trash.
So no doubt there were all kind of maneuvers were coming out there just to avoid you being put in a bin.
Yeah, It's like
Right.
like the first time he invited me on a date, he was expecting me to put makeup on and everything because our first date was swimming, and I didn't know what our first date was going to be. I just got told to, meet outside the high school gates, which was basically army barracks in Manza, and it took me swimming. He was expecting me to go in and have makeup streaming down my face and coming out looking like a monster, but I don't wear makeup.
Just wasn't going to happen.
Not in the slightest.
Right. So after that, where did you see yourself? Where was your direction? What was your thoughts?
Oh, but growing up, I never saw myself with kids. I never saw myself getting married. Never saw myself settling down. That was growing up. And ask anyone I went to primary school or high school with in both England and Germany, they'd all tell you the same. Right. Now I'm a mum. I cannot imagine anything different. The only thing I know is being a mum. Still to this day, I get up, I'm straight on campaign stuff because it's for my kids. So I'm straight on it until I go to bed again. Because normally as a parent, you don't have a 9 to 5 from the minute of waking up to the minute of going to sleep. You're a parent. So it goes into the campaign now for them.
Which is duly noted. Can I just ask,
of course,
for probably a bit of an intimate moment of yours here, but if you could describe to me and people watching, what would be your perfect day with your children?
See, people would probably think this was boring, but I'd have a movie day with them, watching their cartoons. I'd be watching How to Train Your Dragon. I'd be watching Trolls. We'd be watching Minions with blankets and pillars and candles lit above. Obviously, I've got candles that hang from the ceiling because I am safety conscious as well. That'd be my perfect day. I mean, when I had Liam, if Liam was poorly, we'd come downstairs, I'd tuck him in on the sofa with a blanket and I'd sit on the floor in front of him and I'd stroke his hair or his back. And he'd try and do the same to me when I was poorly. If I was poorly and I was sat downstairs, he'd try and pull the blanket over me. He'd give me a kiss on the head and either sit in front of me watching TV or come and sit behind my legs. That was perfect because that's just us. No one else in the world to worry about. No other issues. I don't have to worry about someone coming by and taking them away or them tripping and falling up on each other. I just get to watch them enjoy life.
Katie, sorry, I've just got my phone actually ringing in. It's going to keep pestering. 1 second. I'm sorry, everyone. This is so unprofessional. It's my mate who won't leave me alone. 1 second.
That's not a problem. We've all been there.
Paddy.
Massive thank you as well to everyone that's in the chat and everyone who's been joining.
Can I... All right, okay, don't matter. Bless you, mate. Speak soon. Jayne a bit.
That's what my neighbours have just done when they come round. They were like, I know you've got an interview, but here. I was like, I'm on it now. Oh, sorry, bye.
Well, going back to that, what did you get? What was your barbecue? What did you get?
Well, they've been trying to get the barbecue started from about 4 o'clock, and it only just started about 6 o'clock.
Right.
So we had burnt burgers, burnt sausages, and I've got a jacket potato perfectly done with cheese. I love it.
Wow. So that is definitely supper material, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I told them I had a pizza in and they were just like, nah. But that's the first time I've done that with my neighbours since my kids were here. Yeah, I mean, I'm just buzzing about it because it wasn't just my next door neighbours, lady across the road and her daughter came over as well. So we were all sat outside the front, all chatting, all interacting, I've not done that since my kids are here. It felt so foreign but so perfect at the same time. And it was like perfect ending to the perfect day. But then it was like, this is just like the icing on the cake for today.
Yeah, well, it's been a busy weekend, tiring weekend, exhausting. Must be for a lot of you guys that were involved in doing what you've done yesterday. Moving over now, because I really want to get to the point where things started to go wrong.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because we're having a good chat. I don't want to bring you down here, but we have to round it off to really where, in your words, what were the circumstances to the adoptions?
Well, what they used to get my son, which in turn led to them having an easy picking of my daughter, was risk of future emotional harm, risk of future neglect, and risk of future physical harm. So what I didn't realise in the court at the time is social services don't have to prove that you have done something, just that you could. You, as the parent, have to prove that you, under any circumstances, at any point in the future, would ever do whatever they're accusing you of. That includes grounding your child, taking devices off your child, not allowing your child to go out, shouting at your child.
So what was the initial reason why they come in the first place?
My son was restrained by a nursery worker because my cousin went to pick up her son from the same nursery. There's only 2 months difference between them. And obviously he recognises them. He knows that I'm not far behind. Sometimes we pick each other's kids up as well as our own, because I was going to college at the same time as well. So my son wanted to leave with them, and the nursery worker pulled him back. So he started crying and saying he wanted to go. So she's dropped to the floor, holding his arms, gripping his arms. I wasn't made aware of this until partway through the court proceedings. It was probably a third of the way through the proceedings when I was actually informed by my cousin that, well, did you not know about the nursery worker grabbing him? Did they not tell you about that? I thought that's why they were calling you in, because I was coming in, and they called me in because my daughter's dad went in to get my son because she, pulled me up to talk to me. He came back out with a manager saying that she wanted to speak to me. So my cousins turned around and said that's what she thought I was being pulled in for. So it wasn't until the doctor's report came back in, the day they were going to adopt my son, when he was adoptable, the doctor put in a report saying that, no, the witness statements that have been put in match perfectly with the unexplained marks. The rest of them are just not, the rest of the bruises that he had were just from being a 2-year-old toddling around on his own and playing out in summer.
So how long was the whole process from that initial nursery
2
incident?
years, 6 months. And then at the end of it, they had my son and my daughter.
How did they end up getting your daughter as well? How did it switch over to your daughter?
Well, it took 7 months for them to get my daughter, because I wouldn't let her out of my sight. I wouldn't let anyone look after her. If I needed to sleep, because social were trying to push me to the limit. I had 2 visits at least per day, every single day.
So no, what I'm trying to ascertain.
Oh no, I am getting to it. It's just that you have to understand the extent at which they pushed me first to understand how low they had to go to get her.
Right. Okay.
So from my daughter being newborn, like 1 day old, I had 2 visits a day from professionals every single day. That includes Saturday, includes Sunday, from all hours of the day. I also had to have 2 visits from my family a day, just so that people could check in and make sure I was all right. I had the health visitor also come in, and these were at least 2 visits a day, so it wasn't minimized to 2 visits. And any time in the 24-hour mark that they could come round. They had no set times when they had to come round. They didn't have to let me know they were coming round or tell me when they were coming round. I wasn't allowed to. Every time my daughter was put down for a sleep, I'd have a knock at the door, so I wouldn't be able to kip as well. I mean, luckily at the time, my family were pulling around and were helping. So I'd have 2 aunties, my mum and my gran come round. My aunties would be scrubbing. I'd be asleep on the sofa, and my gran would be watching my daughter, even though she was asleep as well. And if social came round, they'd wake me up first, and they'd be they'd sit down on the sofa with a bruise going, no, she's doing all this. So I managed to keep up on time, on my sleep and everything, so they couldn't overexhaust me.
So it's like they were waiting for you to just drop a bollock. Oh,
of course they were. They were waiting for anything. It got to the point where I used to take my daughter to court with me while I was fighting with my son. They never had any issue with it because she was newborn and all she'd need is a feed and rocking it back of court and gone back to sleep. All of a sudden, when it came to my son's 3-day finding of fact hearing, they wouldn't let my daughter in all of a sudden. And I got told that even my grandma came down to pick her up and look after her for the 3 days just while I was in court. Or they'd put her in care for the 3 days while I was in court, but she wouldn't be coming home of an afternoon. She'd be staying there for the full 3 days. So obviously, I organised my family looking after her for during the day while I was at court, and I'd pick her up. Because my gran's got carpal tunnel in her wrist, it's more dangerous for my gran to be holding my daughter than it is to let her run around in her walker, which she loved doing because my gran's got glossed laminate floor and a small dog that runs around because, the kids get giddy and chase her, so she burns her energy off as well. My daughter's in a walker, zooming around everywhere. I mean, everyone's seen pictures of my daughter. She is chunky as anything. My son was the same. And she got a little bruise in between her legs where the walker was. And we measured the walker and everything. Perfect line for the walker. You know, the rim of it where it's not elasticated. Yeah, apparently it's too soft to leave a mark. But with the amount of ripples she had, nappies, clothes, and the repetitive bouncing on one side, I had the same marks growing up from my walker. My brother had the same. My GP said she had the same.
Yeah.
I asked 3 witnesses to come into court. My GP, health visitor, and family support worker, all professionals. My family put in statements instead.
All validated that it was off the walker.
No, the GP and actually, all 3 of them actually did validate that it could have come off the walker, and it looks like it's come off the walker, and it's reasonable.
Because when you're a chunky baby, a pair of socks can have them indentation marks. It can leave a mark.
Exactly.
So you could tell they were just working on you. They were trying to break you down.
They were just waiting for any mark to pin on me. They wouldn't let me have a second opinion on anything. The day they took her, I was on my way to my GP because my GP was going to confirm and sign off that it was nothing and also run blood tests on her to make sure she didn't have the same blood condition as me because I was pregnant with her when they discovered my blood condition.
Right, okay. Right. You know, this is... you can see already why you've suddenly started to question why when you do witness and acknowledge the misdealings, there's no acknowledgement, there's no apology, there's no...
I was taunted. Social services taunted me the entire time. I had the social worker phoning me up at 9 o'clock at night telling me that my daughter's been adopted and there's nothing I can do about it. And because my calls were recorded and he didn't know, I was begging him on the phone to tell me what I could do. What are my options? What can I do to get my kids home? And the only response I got was, we've been over this. I'm not going over it again. I said, it shouldn't matter. I'm asking you as your client to tell me what I need to do to get my kids home. I've still to this day never got a response. They just stopped answering me.
So do you assume from that getting your kid back is never ever an option?
If they're if it's adoptable, it's like hitting a brick wall. You know, it came down to it where they used my son to get my daughter. My son hit the age mark where he wasn't as adoptable anymore because he knew who his mum was. He knew who his dad was. He knew where he belonged. You know, he knew everything. You know, it's not like he could have easily molded on to someone else and been confused about his memories. I mean, he was 2 years old and speaking 2 languages.
Yeah, so there's no reason. So initially, what you're kind of saying, if I'm wrong, correct me, please, but they've obviously, for the reasons they deem fit, they've gone in for your son. Once they've gone in for your son, they've suddenly seen that there's an element of vulnerability there to then move over and work on your next.
They gave me my son back to make me lower my guarding, and it worked.
How long did you get your son back for?
From August through till March. End of August through till beginning of March. And
was that supposed to be for permanent basis, or what was the deal there?
That was while we were fighting through court. I mean, court's supposed to go on for about 6 months, minimum, about a maximum of 6 months. Mine went on for 2 years and 6 months. At the very, very end of the court hearings for the final dates, my judge was changed. I liked the first judge because he went off what he was given. It wasn't always right, but he went off what he was given, and I couldn't fault that because all he knew was what he was going off in the paper, what professionals are saying, and what a mum's saying. I mean, I was saying to next door, they put in my records that due to the way the mother looks, due to her tattoos and piercings, hair, shaven head, the mother should not have her kids. One of the reasons of why I shouldn't have my kids is the way I look. I'd never had neck tattoos or head tattoos or hand tattoos when I had them.
Imagine if that was a black person. Imagine if that was whatever. If we're gonna, I mean, we're in this realm where polarization. Everyone's, you can't do that because of this. You cannot stereotype. I grew up next to a guy called Andrew Brittner in Holland Street, where I grew up in Miles Platting. He grew up antisocial. He grew up liking punk, all tattoos, literally showing aesthetically that he wanted to rebel against the system. You know, deep down, he was a beautiful person. But yet, there's no way you can stereotype by looking at someone because of piercings and because of bloody tattoos. So I'm sorry for that, but that's the
this is my camouflage for me. I mean, I can't stand the way I look. I can't stand anything about myself, especially since what they did to me. I legally changed my name just before I started protesting.
Would this go back to all the golding that you've had as a kid?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, of course it will. I mean, I grew up with the name Imogen. Imagine, do you remember the TV program Imagine a Story? I had that shit growing up. I was also ginger and extremely freckly and burned within 5 minutes of being in the sun. And I'm very, very short, as you've seen.
You've not explained any reason to justify the treatment that you got there, Katie. I can understand why they might have felt that was justification, but that says more about them than you, does it not?
It does, but I mean, I like my tattoos, even the crap ones. You know, I get it all the time from my family. Why are you tattooing yourself? You look lovely without them. And I would say to them, at the end of the day, if someone can't look past what they see, then I don't want to know who they are.
Yeah, you look beyond all that. Yeah.
It's like people look at me and they're like, oh, you definitely got to be into heavy metal. I mean, yeah, I'm into heavy metal, but I'm also into opera. I grew up going to the opera and to ballet and to theatre. I mean, if someone said to me, would you want to go ballet or theatre, or do you want to go cinema? Ballet or theatre, please.
There you go. So that breaks that stereotype right on its head, really, doesn't it?
Funny fucking looks if I go to ballet or to theatre. I took my daughter when she was a couple of months old. She was about 3 months old when I took her to ballet. Just because I knew they were coming after her and I knew I didn't have long with her. Right? So I thought, fuck it, I'm going to show her something beautiful. Something my grandma showed me. So I took her to ballet and her eyes would not get off the ballerinas. You know, when they were dancing and the movements and the colours, her eyes were fixated. It didn't matter if she understood. The movement alone was enough to have her attention. Yeah. I just wanted to show her something beautiful and something pure. Yeah. As much as I'd love to have just held a mirror in front of him and go, look.
But honestly, I think what you exude, you almost belittle yourself in a way, and I can understand why, and I don't mean that in any disrespect. What I'm trying to say is that what you actually are is...
I'm no one.
No, not at all.
No, I'm finishing it for you. I'm not.
No, let me finish, please. I've just got to get it out. You are metamorphosizing into a beautiful creature. And I mean that in every sense of what you're exuding, what your message is all about, what your positivity levels are, what negativity you've had in your life, but then you're kind of swallowing that, digesting it and moving on. I mean, with that, let's move to what initially made you want to open up the organization that everyone knows and loves. Is called Children's Matter. What made you? What was the first initial, fuck this, I'm doing it?
Do you want the honest answer or do you want the nicer version of it?
I want the brutally honest answer. And if it means calling me names, then do it.
No, the children. So it started off as Families Destroyed by the State, Children Matter, but we've got the big parties now, the under. So we've just made it easier. But yeah, Children Matter was my last message to my kids. That was something. It started off, to be honest, it started off as a way of making sure I didn't get gagged and making sure that my kids would know I love them, because I wasn't planning on sticking around without them. I made a promise with my mum 2 years prior to the date coming up, 3 years prior to the date coming up, that if my kids weren't home by my 24th birthday, I wouldn't be here. And I said that when I was about 21. And I remember I was sat in the bathroom doorway. My mum was sat on the stairs. And she said to me, if I'm planning on doing anything like that, then I have to take advisement from what my grandma did. And I can't, I'd have to organise everything myself, because my mum wasn't going to put herself through organising her own daughter's funeral or anything like that. So I said, right, well, if my kid's at home by my 24th, then I won't be neither. And you asked at the beginning of this how old I am. I'm 24. I turned 24 June last year. And that kills me, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm on bided time now. I'm just trying to leave my kids as much as I can do so they don't fall down this trap. I don't care if anyone remembers me. I don't want people to remember me. I am no one. I'm nothing. I'm just a mum trying to teach her kids.
You know, it's exhilarating, but it's sad to hear that someone with so much worth and so much to give, and is doing so much not only for the community and making people aspire and inspire, inspiring people, that you do exude this element of you do feel that you've got this low self-worth that is not your fault, that has been drummed into you from a very early age, and negative conditioning. But at the same time, you've just illustrated there that you'd already said, by the time I get to this age, that's it. I've had enough.
Hey, I was strong. I got the thing I'm proud of more than anything is I got away from my son's dad, who would have killed me, who was selling me to his mates, who was beating me up on a regular basis. I mean, he made sure that I would never forget him. Like, I said, I hate my skin. This, like, being in front of a camera is what kills me the most. Because if you have a look by my shaven side, I have a scar here.
Right.
That's from a glass bottle being whacked over my face. If I smile, I have a dent here from where I had my cheek bricked in. So I have both sides. So no matter which angle people get me from, if they get me smiling, you can't see them. If I don't smile, you can't see them.
Well, I must say I've never noticed them. So you're kind of making it.
It looks like a dimple, that one. So
well, I've never noticed any of them, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, "What? I've never noticed that." But it's understandable.
It's something
that
I do,
you're going to be self-conscious about, and that's understandable, not only from a personal perspective, but maybe from a female perspective as well. So that's understandable. You don't have to explain yourself for that here. Again,
for months, I went not smiling because I couldn't stand the sight of it. But then I realized what was getting me more and more depressed, what was getting me down, was being around people who were down. So it's like now if something gets on top of me, my team have a laugh at me. I've got a playlist actually on our channel called Cadbury's Rants. And I had a bit of one this morning. Because if something gets on my chest, I will bottle it up.
What was your rant this morning then? What was it? What was it this morning?
Someone popped up in the chat who've never come in the chat before, never heard of him before, never commented, and called me a purple-haired slag. And, if that's the best they can do, then maybe I should buy them a thesaurus. Yeah.
Well,
and
honestly,
that's the thing that I mean. If I can make someone else laugh through something that's upset me or pissed me off, that makes me feel better. It makes someone else laugh. And it's like straight away, as soon as you smiled, then my smile's grown. And the same vice versa. It's infectious. And I'd rather show people my smile and make them smile, which makes me happy. So I am selfish in doing it. But it's so much better than talking to someone being completely down. It's like if I was on here and I was being extremely rude and disrespectful to you, you'd get off and you'd feel completely shit. I'd get off and I'd feel like shit and feel egotistical. And
you know what? I'd be doing a Cadbury's rant in the morning. That's what I'd be fucking doing, and it'd be like a Cadbury whole nut, fruit and nut. The fucking lot would be in it, I tell you. But that ain't ever going to happen between you and I at all. But it shows you the negative, and you know what? You've just linked onto this perfectly. We've probably not discussed children's matter enough, but I guess we can come back to that. But let's fast forward a bit, because I guess people may be getting a little impatient now. Let's talk about the dynamic event that you held and organised yesterday. Do you want to talk about that for a little bit?
Are you going to make me big-headed?
Well, I think you deserve the credit. You know what I mean? No doubt you've had a lot of help from many people, but initially, the initial initiative, no doubt, has come from yourself, and literally getting everyone whipped into kind of touch into an organisational group has no doubt come from yourself as well, with a little bit of help from others. So same again, from afar, I can see how other people have helped. I can see how other people contributing will benefit to you. But ultimately, I can see you running the fucking ship here, Katie Jayne. So I just want you to kind of just talk about it a little bit on the beginnings of it. What made you come up with that concept? What is it you were seeing?
I was just having a laugh with Zero and with Norbert coming out, because we were having a bit of a rant about not being able to get on the streets, and I can't wait till all this gets over. And I just turned around and went, fuck it, why wait? Oh, fuck it, why wait? Why not just go and make it happen? Why not just go and see if it, if we can pull people together? And that was about a week ago tomorrow. About 2 weeks ago tomorrow, sorry.
Yeah.
And I made a poster, taking the mic, sent it to Zero and a couple of others. I was like, yeah, go on, do it. So I sent it around to everyone and people got in touch. I think all in all, 30 people got in touch. So, 22 people spoke. So it was, if the camera had been on though, and you'd have seen me behind scenes, it was mad because we had cancellations and people running late. And I mean, Zach, who spoke last, he only just got back in the chat just before John Lawrence was finished speaking. And earlier, at the beginning, just before Jimmy the Hat was on, we were 40 minutes early. Ouch. So if we hadn't have caught the time back up, Zach wouldn't have made it on. John Lawrence wouldn't have been there in time, and nothing would have sunk up. So we had to catch that back up. I had Zoom up here with the comments. I had on this screen, I had an email up with the list of the speakers, the time they were starting, the time they were finishing.
Yeah.
WhatsApp up with the chat with Zero, and we were going back and forth constantly. I had to redo the list like every fourth speaker until we got to the end where I was doing it every speaker and sending him the list. I was trying to help people get on Zoom, having to constantly mute people who kept coming, unmuting. People were rejoining constantly. I had to ring about 4 people and say to them, "Are you coming on?" They're like, "Yeah, when am I on?" I'm like, "Just after this next speaker." Running around ringing everyone.
You could tell that there was a few that didn't know their ass from their elbow when it comes to technology, but they were just like, "Oh, all right, I'll just go with it," But that's great. I'm the same. I'm no better. I've only just learned how to bloody use this, So
because I was doing so much. I was like, Zero was like, "How can I help you?" I was like, "Not only can you speak, but I need you to." He suggested he suggested introducing, but introducing me because I was going to be one of the last.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it worked out perfectly that I was earlier because otherwise we wouldn't have got it all in. But there were so many times where I'm concentrating on all this and Zero seen someone stalling, so we stepped in and he absolutely owned it yesterday. And the moderators as well, like the moderators did absolutely fucking fantastic.
Yeah. I could see from what I could see, all the moderators were in hand doing a really good job. I could see Zero there really doing a nice work of being an anchor, handling what must have been going on in the background.
Oh, yeah, especially with what he got, especially with the attitude he got at one point as well. He held that together perfectly. He messaged me on the side and he was like, "Rude." And I was like, "Just stay cool because it will show your professionalism. Just worry about you and the show for now. Don't worry about anything else." Yeah. And he handled himself perfectly. He was like, "No, I know. I was just letting you know in case you didn't hear." I was like, "No, I heard. My camera was off. I just heard it." And I was like, "What the fuck?"
So we're going back. Someone did actually mention in the comment, can you ask Katie to explain the social
services?
Right, okay.
Yeah, we touched on it earlier, future risk of emotional harm, physical harm, and future risk of neglect. Because of nursery worker grabbed my son and restrained him, which left marks on his arms, which I couldn't explain. The marks on his knees from falling over and being a typical 2-year-old, we knew everything about. We told them time, dates, everything. I mean, my neighbours today have been laughing at the fact that Liam, I was showing them pictures that a couple of campaigners got for me. And one of them's of my son. And she turned around to one of the ladies who've just moved in and she went, "Him, that lad, you could look at him and he'd hit the deck."
Oh my
She used to laugh and every time he fell over because there's cracks all on the pavement. Yeah. So we used to find it funny because if she was outside and he fell over, she'd come to the gate and she'd go, "You've broken another pavement."
Likes the floor more than he likes standing up.
Oh, yes.
You get some that are like that. They don't like walking. So, like dropping a lot. There's not wrong with that. But obviously that got used against, used to demonize you. As in, you must be a violent mother here.
Oh, yeah. I've got no criminal record. I still don't have any criminal record. When they took, after my son was taken, obviously they take you in to question you, but you're not under arrest. I panicked then. I'm completely different now. Now there's a video of me standing up against 40 fucking coppers in London just because they were trying to find out the name of a protester's kid who they just arrested her dad and they were trying to find out what her name was.
Right.
And obviously, me being social services and point blank will not give any authority children's names, not unless they want to willingly admit that they're a paedophile. It shuts them up quicker.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Oh, I love it. I at protests when there's police around, I'll be quiet as anything, and you'll see me hover around them, and I'll just be waiting to hear one thing, something that contains act or statute at the end, and then you'll see me pop up and go, "Excuse me, did you just say an act of the law? And are you claiming that an act of the law is the law? And are you aware that to do so is a fraudulent offence?"
And what did he say to that?
They walk away.
Yeah. They'll just see you as right.
It's
Okay.
the terminology you use. If you don't use legalese against them, then you're thick as far as they interpret you. And it's not the way it should be.
Well,
But
no, I agree.
I love pulling them up on it.
No, I agree. I mean, in terms of, well, it's all about the way you put yourself across generally anyway. That can work with whether you speaking to someone next door to you, or you're speaking to a legal professional, or you're speaking to a barrister. There is a way of putting your point across in a way that will get their attention and show that you're actually intelligently on the topic in hand.
I mean,
And
my barrister and my solicitor both liked me. They both cried before the last hearing because the judge had put in the judge had put the court date on a day where my solicitor and my barrister were both on mandatory leave because they had to use up their holidays.
Do you reckon that was done on purpose, or was that a coincidence?
Oh yeah, that was done on purpose. These two, this barrister and this solicitor, the solicitor had been to my house. They both met my kids.
Right.
You know, they saw not just me as a person, but they saw me as a mum. They saw me as a mum in action. I was sat there doing paperwork with them. You know, kids get impatient, and I handled them. They complimented me all the time, and they'd always get sweets in and biscuits in for
I'm sorry, Casey. I've just got my eldest just waving through the window. What would you like, my dear? There's 4 satellites out here. Apparently, there's going to be a meteor shower. Is that right? Tonight? Yeah, there's something to go on in. ET's coming, babe. That's what it is. Yeah. Sorry about that. So unprofessional. 1 minute and oh, mate, I've got my daughters just want my attention. So sorry about that. I'm
not much better here, so don't worry about it.
Oh, no, but I think it adds to the actual authenticity of the stream as well. So going back to what you achieved yesterday, what was the main premise of the event?
Well, this is things like, because it's like, best way of probably describing it, it's our safety net from being labelled political. I mean, when I first started campaigning, a couple of people who helped mould me to who I am, a couple of the first people who helped mould me into who I am, consider themselves far left. One of them is ex-Antifa. Obviously, he's older now. I emphasize the older now part. So, we have complete differences of opinions. We've butted head a couple of times, but as far as they're concerned, they're my demo mum and my demo dad, and I'm their demo daughter. And we can bicker, we can have differences of opinions, but at the end of the day, we're still family. Something I've always said since coming into all this and seeing everyone, and even realizing it through my life growing up, we may not be related through blood, but we are related through trauma. My family, when I talk about my family, like in a general basis, I'm talking about my campaign family. It's like, as I said to you before, the advice you were giving me, it wasn't criticism or anything like that. That was family advice I will 100% take on board. Because, we may not be related through blood, but we have been through shit.
Yeah.
We've been through shit. We understand each other. We know who each other are.
I'll tell you what, Peter, sorry to interrupt here, but I've got to really say this. It was, I've noticed it before when I've done PAG stuff. I noticed the view count just go boom. Everyone wants PAG. Everyone loves the idea of what PAG's doing, but no one's fucking interested when it comes to it. And I've got to say that on a social value when you're looking at it. So what I'm going to say is the same effect I see with all the effort, all the hard work, and the topic matter. No doubt the actual speakers, some of them, you could actually cry with the testimony that they gave.
100%. 100%. I mean, I know some of them personally as well. And their interviews, when they're talking on camera, it doesn't do their justice. You really need to sit down and talk to them. Like, for example, Bobby and Joseph Blair. if you want to get an idea of what their story is genuinely like, we did, because obviously I'm building through team pages on the website at the minute. I've been going through with them their story from their first children's home, and we've just touched on their second children's home. And you can see just from that, from the ages of like 4 to 11, how bad it was. But with Children Matter, I think the reason why, I mean, it took me 4 years. 4 years with Children Matter has been going on YouTube. Obviously, it's been going for longer on Facebook, but 4 years on YouTube. We've only just hit 1,000 today. And you know what? I don't care how long it's taken.
No,
I'm actually more glad it's taken long, because I know that our viewers are genuine.
No, and I get what you're saying. You know what really gets me annoyed about all this? Same again. When I first come into this, I was getting 60, 70, 80 fucking thousand views for filming scrapping in London, right? I'll come away and film something of significance that has got true emotion, grit, that should get every fucking household worried and concerned. But yet, because it's not of a sensationalistic value, because it's not itemized as in, this is sensational, this is going to really, no.
Or fit what they were raised to believe as well with social services. You see that a lot. If it doesn't fit what they were raised to believe, like they don't get involved for no reason, there's no smoke without fire. If anyone thinks there's no smoke without fire, I dare you to buy an incense stick.
It's true. But no, going back, when you're listening to the testimony of these people, right? Not only should they be on mainstream news, no one wants to bring the world down by listening to someone, but if you're not prepared to take on board what has gone on, how can you sort out the problems of the future if you're not prepared to go back and listen to the mistakes that have been made and how people feel and evaluate that going on? So what really annoyed me is that when I was coming in and out of that stream, I'm seeing a rolling count of no more than 80 people at any one time. And I'm like, I cannot fucking believe this. You know, it's been put on every other bleeding platform. Everyone's sharing it all over the place. And to be fair, you probably had a wider scope on different platforms than a lot of other people who have tried to do a similar thing in the past. I've tried to scream from the rooftops about, why don't everyone share PAG? Hardly anyone shared PAG. You know, everyone.
We did the same we did the same on our Facebook page as well. We did the absolute same thing on our Facebook page. I mean, we had Michael Tarraga, you know, he's the author, he wrote Meat Rat Boy. So we had that's the first proper time I've ever spoken to him properly. I mean, we spoke twice on the phone, once to ask him to speak, which was only last week or this week. Oh, it was this week actually. I asked him, and obviously just before the show as well, where I was helping him get onto the platform. And we've never spoken before that. You know, that was the first time I actually got to properly speak to him. But it really had people. I think the fact that everyone had 10 minutes and we had the time slot set up, and I put it out on Telegram, and I think I did it on Facebook as well. But I put the times on for when people were due to be moving on. So I think people were coming, you know, later on. No, because you know,
cool. That's a good point. Yeah.
No one was expecting it to go on. Well, yeah, we were expecting it to go on till about 6 o'clock, to be honest. So we ended up being on time. But it was just, if we give the people the preparation that, yeah, we are going to be starting at 1, but we're not going to be finished till 6. People know then that, oh, well, they won't turn around then and go, well, I'll probably missed it by now. Yeah, we were still on.
No, I get it. I'll go back again. What really astounds me, this is a worldwide problem, Casey.
It is 100%. I mean, this is the first time we've had any success with it at all. And I genuinely put it down to the fact we weren't just one cause. I think if we were just one cause, supporting one thing and pushing one thing, the same ideology as each other, I don't think it would have picked up as much as it was, because it's people from different areas suffering different things under different ways, from different causes and different times in their lives. I think that's what got people. I think that's what pulled it off.
No, I agree. You're going to pull in different followers from different places, different platforms. Totally agree with that. It's just a sad indictment that it was really revolving around unity, yeah? Now, I guess the unity essentially, if we're going to go paradigmal on this...
To be honest, I think it was more equality that I was going for more than unity, showing everyone that even if we've got different frames of mind, we can all stand together to fight for the same outcome.
Certainly, but I guess the unity has to be adhered on both sides as well. But the initial point, and then we'll move on from that, is what I make is that what is more, or what should be more unifying than abuse of children?
Nothing.
Regardless of the demographic, regardless of what country, what ethnicity, fucking hell, whether they should be deported, shouldn't be deported, a child is a child. For me, if I hear of a little Indian child in India that's getting brutally abused by taxi drivers, I feel the same disgust about a white kid
Oh,
that's being abused.
100%.
And that's what I don't
100%. A
understand.
child is a child. They're innocent no matter what. I mean, I think yesterday's live. I don't just think. I know yesterday's live showed more unity than anyone realizes. I know for a fact that we had a couple of people who were on the Tommy side, but are now on the FNAT side, who were watching yesterday. I noticed a couple of the comments come up at the beginning. Saying well done, saying hi to a couple of the speakers who were on. But I had messages the day beforehand saying, don't worry, there won't be any comments, there won't be any trolling, there won't be any of this. It's not being shared on their platform. It's just, I know it because I knew you when I was supporting Tommy. I went to a Tommy demo. So I got that little bit of respect of them turning around to me and going, you know what? I'll give it a look, but I won't be doing any of this. And I said to him, make sure you do not troll that, this video, because otherwise we're going to have serious fucking words. And
again, I've got to jump in here because with people that go down certain rabbit holes and certain journeys and diversions on their journey of red pilling, and they end up at the CivNat and FNAT. So
my opinion on it. I don't follow that at all.
I'm not trying to attribute that to you in any way, but we have to admit that there are diversions all over the place that are even more darker than that. But the problem I have with that is that unilaterally, abuse is abuse. Now, if you're coming from the standpoint where you regard an FNAT more important than a CivNat, that worries me in a sense that if we're now talking abuse, are you more worried about white children being abused, or are you more worried about children being abused?
Well,
so
that's the thing, though. I mean, it's it's like I was saying to you earlier. I mean, it's all well and good saying, well, I agree with this context of it, but you can't say you agree with the written version of it and then try and fob off saying that you agree with the context of it. Because at the end of the day, I agree personally that all children deserve a childhood, all children deserve justice, and all children deserve the right to live a normal and happy life that they deserve. Mm-hmm. I do not, however, agree that certain children should be, held to a higher whatever than any other child. All children are equal. They are too young to commit a sin, let alone a crime. They don't know the difference between good or bad. They are age appropriate, and they learn as they go, and they learn from the adults around them. So they should be protected. So it is easier too.
We're all unique souls, aren't we? No, it's all right. Don't be. It's me that butted in on you. We're all unique souls, aren't we? And I do believe, same again, maybe I misconstrued, but what I got from that, a few of your speakers did talk about unification. And that is beautiful. We do need that, but we've got to adhere what unifying means in terms of left-right paradigms should not really exist when you're talking about abuse.
No, it shouldn't. And it comes down to morals, not politics.
Exactly. Colour, creed should not be an issue. You know what I mean? If no matter what your argument is, even if you're fundamentally against the sexual exploitation that does come from demographically what we regard as Muslims, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That does not mean that then when it comes to abuse, you've got to wipe off what will happen to a Muslim woman who is trapped within a nefarious angle of what some people regard as
100%.
fucking radical Islam. So I think if you can sell that message, you're more likely to break the paradigms, get the unification of black, white, Muslim, fucking Indo-Chinese, whatever, together. Until you actually show that to the people, you're going to get the political ping pong that the left are going to turn up against you and go, well, because you are right, we're left. So we can't agree. We don't agree with abuse, but not your brand of abuse. And this is what I mean. This is where the unification has got a danger of just kind of being insignificant. And it shouldn't be, because this is such a good initiative with the right intentions, what you're trying there, Kater.
I mean, I always see myself as I would be a hypocrite if I ever saw colour. I mean, my mum used to laugh her head off because when I was a young teenager, before we moved to Germany, my second stepdad, the one I regard as my actual dad, his cousin, well, two of his cousins are adopted into the family. One of them is, well, as he says, blacker than the ace of spades. That's his context, not mine. But my mum used to laugh her head off because I used to adore my uncle. My uncle used to adore me. I was getting bullied in school, so he used to come and pick me up. He used to take me to school. He was 6 foot odd as well, so big, tall. And then my mum would come in from work, and I'd be sat cuddled up next to my uncle watching TV while he was on his phone, and she used to laugh at us, calling us yin and yang. Because we were like the complete opposite of each other. I'm really short, he's really tall. I'm milk bottle white, and I genuinely have a picture of my uncle somewhere and my old schoolmate. And you can see my mate, and you can just see this white top in the hallway behind him. That's my uncle.
Honestly, you know, there's no need to explain. I can kind of feel that that's where you're at. Anyway, I'm just bringing that point up generally, just because.
To be honest, I wanted to give my uncle a shout out. To be honest, if I'm being honest, I wanted to be a bit cheeky and give him a shout out by mentioning that story.
Oh, right. And what would he think of that if he hears? Will he be like a little bit coy, or will he?
See, I don't know, because I've not seen him properly since my mum and him split up, and he was one of my favourite uncles. He gave me this little gold cat ornament thing, and he said it was called cooking fat. And he said, when I'm bored and my mum tells me off, change the F and the C around. And all of a sudden, he just, a couple of hours later, heard me giggling upstairs because I'd realised what it said.
That is a little bit cheeky, that, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So with this event that you've done, what have you got planned for the future? What's the next move? I mean, I guess, what was the reaction that you got around the board?
I didn't get off my phone till about 3 o'clock this morning. I've been having phone calls and messages galore coming in left, right, and centre, and it's all been positive about the demo. I've had a massive smile on my face, and then hitting 1,000 this morning. I mean, for a channel that's been up for 4 years, I've never been asked about getting 1,000. You know what I mean? I clicked today. Now we'll get the community board, so we can actually put posts up instead of having to only put videos up, and that'll help us massively.
Yeah, you can stream as well at 1,000, can't you?
Yeah, so we'll be able to. I mean, we were hacking it anyway, so we were doing it through like Streamlabs or Zoom.
You was doing what, Katie?
Using alternate. We were piggybacking it.
Oh, piggyback, right? That sounds a little bit more legal. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. So, well, let's stop there then. Right, Katie, please mention your YouTube page right now for anyone who's gone, right, okay, let me sub.
Well, it's childrenmatter.news, and I've just put hey in the chats as well. So, yeah, you asked a minute ago what the next plans are. The next plans are putting more effort into the website, because I've been building a website for a couple of weeks now, and I want to get it so it navigates to all the right places, because there's so many different people on there. As I've asked yourself if you'd like to come on as well.
Sure.
And I'm going to be doing basically the profiles of all I call them admin just because it's easier. Well, admins of their own channels, so so adding the admins in there and creating their pages with them, so they'll basically be watching what I'm doing, directing me in how they want things to go, what they want where, so it'll be how they want it. I'll just be putting it together for them. So I'm just going to be building that and the information pages as well. So that should be fun.
Well, it will be, but I tell you what, Katie, you've got a job on your hands, haven't you? You know that, don't you? Because a lot of people are infused, excited, but at the same time desperate for this. Because same again, I don't think we covered it. Let's get back to why, or one of the reasons why you kind of collaborated all this together. Was any of the infighting, the constant bullshit, the constant dividing, and thus getting nowhere with the argument, did that have anything to do with you kind of pulling people up by the fucking scruff of the neck and saying, right, come on, let's do this? I might be wrong here, but
I mean, it did a bit. That's what pushed me to expand it more. I mean, we've spoke about, obviously, a bit about my past and everything. So, I mean, you can probably tell I come from quite a few different causes. You know, I've even got links to the veterans as well, which is why the veterans have links to Children Matter. We all, you know, a lot of people I've met, like, for example, Nobby. Me and Nobby have more in common from each of our causes than we ever could have thought we would have. I've got more in common with what he's fighting for, and he's got more in common than what I'm fighting for, than what we realised.
Yes.
And that's what all this is about. Children Matter is a neutral place where it's just an expansion of who each other is. It's like when you go on our channel, you'll see that Zero does his own videos on there. I do my own videos on there. The other team members do the same. Like, no video runs the same way. Everyone runs whatever they want to do, how they want to do it. I stay out of it. You know, if anyone needs me to set anything up and then stay in the background, that's what I do. You know, because everyone's got their own way of running things. It's not about what I want or how I think things should come across, because that's not what wakes everyone up. Everyone wakes up in their own different ways. So why not bring all those different ways to one spot where everyone can find each other? Because if I've come from more than one cause, what are the chances that more people have come from more than one cause?
The danger you've got, though, you've got to make sure that everyone is running on a virtually a similar ethos, so haven't you? You can't have people just doing whatever they want but still being attributed to you.
Oh, no, they all know and are fully aware of how I run things, what I'm acceptable of. Not even how I run things. Everyone's like Great Brit, who's in the comments. If you have a look at the way he moderates other people compared to how he moderates on Children Matter, it's completely different. Because on Children Matter, it's just, this is, you know, he knows the boundaries of what Children Matter is and what it's not. Zero's the same, because he does controversial stuff on his channel. He'd never even attempt to bring it to mine, so I don't need to pull him up on it. I do remind him every now and again, just like he'll ask me if he's not sure about anything. But we do try, and I mean, everyone's just respectful of the fact they know that it's built off my kids.
No, but in a way, it's almost that should be a given anyway with anyone. In a sense, it don't matter. In a sense, whether it's Katie Jayne, Children's Matter, it's a sense that you've got an obligation as a YouTuber. Full stop. You with your own channel, no matter what you do, no matter what message, no matter what your followers. If you then decide to collaborate with someone else, your message, yeah, you can do whatever you want as a message, but you somehow have an obligation, because that message could play a part in not so much tarnishing someone else, but there's an obligation to.
I am very, very. It's not like I don't watch what people are doing, because I am very, very protective of Children Matter.
I'm not suggesting for any minute that any of your guests are doing that. I'm just saying these are the pitfalls that we've all got. If you're going to be in a group, you've got to have obligation and respect that, you know what, I want to be a decent person. The people around me, I've got to make sure that are decent people that I can thoroughly stand and go, I can trust them in a comment section. I can
100%.
trust them. You know what I mean? And
I 100%. I do know what you mean. What I was getting at, though, is everyone knows that Children Matter is built off my kids. Children Matter is my kids. Families Destroyed by the State on Facebook, that's my kids. So I am very, very, very protective of it. And some people haven't even had a chance to rectify what they've done. And it's just been, you're not even getting the chance to come near my channel. But I am particular with who I bring on. The people who I have brought on, I know who they are. I know where they come from. I've watched them for a while. I think the good thing about being a campaigner is the fact that we've put our trust in people near enough instantaneously. We assume that we all come from a good background because we've all been through trauma, so we all automatically put all our trust in people. So I did it with you the first time I met you. You asked me for an interview. I said, of course, let's go. So.
But then you didn't realise the conversation I had slagging you off to Great Brit 10 minutes after, did you?
Oh, I can imagine.
No, but it's right though, isn't it? And it's dangerous ground in that way, but at the same time, there's an element of...
it is, because when we get burnt, we get burnt. If someone disrespects our trust, it hurts us a hell of a lot more because we put all our trust in. Instead of gradually making them earn our trust like we would do with anyone outside of the campaign, within the campaign, we put all our trust in them. So when they do break our trust, it's a hell of a lot harder to forgive. I mean, I've had it happen to me. a couple of months ago, I had a group of 4 or 5 people who decided to target me because I didn't conform to them and because I put the campaign's name before their ego and the fact they couldn't keep their knickers up. So she decided to spread rumours, which got other people who were supposed to be my friends, going with them as well, without even telling me why. And it got to a point where I was like, well, you know what? If you're not even going to let me talk and all you want to do is pick on the weird looking one and the funny one and whatever because you think you're big and hard, go for it. But you're not going to get a reaction out of me. They were tagging me and stuff, putting my name everywhere, calling me all names under the sun. My reaction was, you do not impact my life. You do not improve my life in any way. My life's not going to fall apart without you in it. If that's the way you want to act and you just want to be like that, then fine. I blocked and I moved on. And a couple of weeks ago, they tried to get in touch for my help. Simple answer to that was, if you're going to disrespect me like that and try and tarnish what I've built for my kids, then the most help you're going to get off me is, have you looked on YouTube?
Yeah, well, it is. It swings and roundabouts, and it is. When you do this, people assume that you've got a short memory. Do you ever kind of think that? And
of course,
when you get burned, you don't forget shit in a hurry, do you, Katie? So it's only a matter of time before that trend comes back around where people all of a sudden have forgot that they've done the dirty on you, like you've just said. And then all of a sudden, they seem to think that you've got an obligation to help them because you've got a platform, and you think, well, hold on.
It's like you were saying about the infighting before.
Yeah.
I've managed to keep infighting away from Children Matter. Don't get me wrong. People have baited me. They have tried getting me to bite back. But I can stand up for anyone, but I never stand up for myself. So I can take a lot. You can throw things at me. I mean, I laugh about it all the time when people call me names. I mean, I grew up with the last name Swallow. So, if there's something I've not heard of, I'll give you a $5. That's the way me and my family work. And trust me, my family call you everything just to make sure that you don't lose a $5 easily.
Jesus, what an abusive family you've got. It's like banter on steroids. Like, what's going on here?
Well, with the amount of last names that we've had, I don't blame them.
There's got to be some wordplay in there somewhere, and it keeps you on your toes, if nothing else. But I guess, you know what? Let's round this up, because look at all the stuff that we've discovered about your life in this stream, Katie, yeah? All the woes, and people might think, fucking hell, Phil, why are you going here? Why aren't we having a laugh? Why aren't we doing this? No, because you know what? It's come back round in a beautiful little package. Katie Jayne Swallow is now founder of childmatters.news, which is an organisation on the false adoption and all other issues emanating around that. And the fact that you're using this as a template, as an open living diary for one day for your children to see it. So you think of all that negativity, and you think of where you've put it, and and it's like, what? You've just sat it on the mantelpiece and go, you can sit there if you want, but don't hold your breath waiting for me to worry about it. And that's what really beams through with this to me.
I mean, I've never, I believe, and I've got so many social worker reports and parenting assessments of everything that I've got it all through to back that. I've said this for fucking ages. I don't believe that kids should see how dark and grey the world really is. I want them to enjoy the beauty and the colours in life. I want them to see the beauty. I don't want them to hear any shouting. I've fallen out with people and never spoken to them again because they've shouted while my son was asleep in the other room.
No, sorry, Katie. Sorry, I was just waving at someone who was getting off there. Sorry.
Oh, right, sorry. But yeah, I was dead strict. I didn't want my kids being introduced to any of that. So no one shouted in the house. None of that negativity was brought into the house or around them. I'd fall out with people, never speak to them again if they disrespected that. Because kids shouldn't have to see how dark and horrible the world really is.
Yeah.
I mean, I was lucky in a sense because I moved from England. Like when I was in England before I moved, I grew up playing Kerber. Playing in the streets, falling down fucking hills, breaking every bone in my bloody body, fucking messing around on building sites and whatnot. I moved to Germany. I got a military upbringing, which gave me a sense of respect and responsibility and morals. And I come back to a completely different England. I come back to an England where everyone's on technology, doesn't really want to go out, throwing shit on the streets, kids beating each other up instead of playing nicely with each other.
So You were saying that you lived in Germany, right? You come back, you've seen that, you've seen a technological switch and a psyche switch within our civilization. What was going on in Germany at that time? Because they would have had the same technology. How were they dealing with that on a socialistic level?
Majority of kids still, I mean, yeah, they still gamed and everything, but that was more of an evening thing. I mean, it was you went out, you enjoyed the sun, you went to parks. I mean, there were play parks everywhere. You could go towns within walking distance. We lived in a village at one point, and it'd be about half an hour walk to the local shop, but the scenery was amazing. People respected the streets. There was no litter around. Households were responsible for not just the end of their garden, but the path outside their garden as well. So everywhere was spotless. If people would say hello to you walking down the street and wish you a good morning, they're so polite and so respectful and so clean. And yeah, I miss Germany. My sister's still there.
So where do you think we've gone wrong then?
England's just stopped giving a shit about itself. The people have stopped being proud of who they are. I mean, when we moved, the day we moved back from Germany, we were in the taxi, we were coming back through Manchester. Everyone had flags everywhere, England flags. And I'm looking up and I've got tattered flags everywhere. And normally that wouldn't bother me because that's standard working class England. And then you just look on the streets and there were fag packets, there were bottles, there were cans, there was just shit everywhere. No one was giving a crap about their homes or anything. I've fallen into the same pathway. If you look at my front garden at the minute, it looks like a jungle. Not been here for 3 weeks, mine, but it's getting tackled tomorrow.
Well, we've got more than enough time, haven't we? I'm seeing everyone, if they're not doing the bleeding back garden, they're painting the bleeding the lintels, the keystones, the fencing. Everyone's at it, just doing what they can. I've been doing some piping, some guttering. I've been cleaning out all kinds of stuff, been sorting out panes of glass and whatnot. So it is the time to kind of get busy like that. That might, if we do ever get out of this psychological warfare that we're in and we do ever return back to the shit life that we had before this started, that it might actually make us reconsider who we are a little bit. What are your thoughts on that?
Sorry, what do you mean exactly? Sorry.
In terms of, on a community level, how we regard each other, in terms of relationships, do you reckon this may give us a bit of food for thought, or should it give us food for thought?
It's like as I was saying earlier. I mean, I've not spoke to my next door neighbours in ages. I've not sat outside with my next door neighbour and had an actual conversation with them since my kids were here. I was going out to my cousins earlier, and the one like Rick, who me and Rick have clashed heads a couple of times under misunderstandings and shit like that, invited me to go join them for the barbecue. That shocked me. I said it to another one of my neighbours later on. I was like, Rick invited me. She looks as shocked, like, oh. It's like, yeah, today's been a very, very good and positive day. And, I've said to them, I don't know if they'll remember, I'll say to them again if I have to, but what happened put me in that frame of mind of, I'm going to keep myself isolated because people are going to judge me because I'd have judged me if I hadn't have seen it for myself with my own two eyes. So I isolated myself. I mean, one of the women who lives across the road, who've basically looked after me since I moved in here, she's a foster carer. She fosters her grandson. She's been pushing for years to get her grandson to go back to her daughter. And social have been messing her around, throwing her in and out of institutions and everything to stop him from going back. And he always wants to go. He always wants to see his mum. He always wants to spend time with his mum and everything. And I could not fault her in the slightest. I'm trying really hard not to accidentally say her name. But I could not fault her in the slightest. Not in the single bit could I fault her. She has always, always, always had my back. When I first moved in here, she brought over some decorational bits like curtains, a bin, lampshade, even a fabric wardrobe for my son's room. When I first moved in here, before getting proper fit, all the new furniture. She's really looked after me and had my back. And today's just been a complete heartwarmer and eye opener that I can still talk to the neighbours that I talked to before. I mean, there's a couple I don't get along with because they decided to attack my house when my daughter was 2 days old and make it shit over now. Still don't get along with them, but I'm happy not getting along with them. if that's the attitude they're going to have, then I don't exactly want it at my house.
Well, you have to meet in the middle, don't you, when it comes to a friendship, a connection, a bond. And if you're not getting it back, then there's no point in wasting your time. You just need to concentrate on like-minded people and people that are going to lift you up. You know, you've had enough going on in your life. You don't need extra turmoil on a false level for nothing, frivolously. You know,
I've got Zach to make sure I keep tough skin anyway.
Brilliant.
It's my other half, by the way, that's in the comments.
Is it? Is this Zach Jolly?
That's the one.
Yes, Zach Jolly. Well done, mate. Well done for keeping this young lady safe and keeping her on the straight and narrow.
But he's going through some shit at the minute. He found out yesterday that yesterday morning his mate got stabbed in the neck. Hate crime as well. So he's
hate
trying.
Crime.
Yeah. He mentioned it at the end of the stream that we did on his spot.
Right.
So I'd let you go into that one. I know he hates talking about this subject as well because there's a lot of conspiracy, and if you mention those beliefs of people, then you're considered racist. I'll let you take a guess at which one I'm at.
Sake.
Yeah.
And we started this off with a unifying message. You know what I mean? And you think to yourself, we're all doing it to ourselves, aren't we? And I'm not blaming us, but I'm just saying society has pigeonholed itself sufficiently, and it's disseminating information that's sufficiently keeping people in their fucking pigeonholes. So you're going to always get this. You're going to always see people that, I'm right, you're left, I'm black, you're white, I'm Muslim, you're redhead. And you know what I mean? And it's like, aren't we all human beings? Aren't we all here to talk about the abuse and the ritual and satanic abuse and the rape, and the domestic abuse? I mean, one of the people who come in yesterday, another lady who's got tattoos, dark hair.
Sarah Ran is absolutely amazing. She's been part of my team for nearly a year now. I'm going to be hopefully doing some more work with her.
She's an amazing lady, right? What got me is that she was actually saying that she's stuck in this lockdown in a domestic relationship, a domestic abusive relationship.
But it's more complicated than that. I can go into it a bit because she has done a video about it on the channel. Yeah, she got away from her abuser, but she managed to get her kids back and everything through court. It took her ages. He is a major drug dealer over there, and the police and the courts actually protect him, and the courts are forcing her to still allow him to have contact with the kids, even though they are well aware that the kids have been sexually abused by the stepmother and the father and her kids.
And they still allow it for him to have access?
Yeah. Just forced to make him go there every other weekend. And she's posted pictures in our group a couple of times of, when she's been driving down there, her son looking out of a window, fucking petrified and everything. You should have seen the pictures and everything from when she first got them back. They were basically skin and bones, and these kids are younger than my eldest.
So because of his influence as being a drug dealer, he's basically getting away with this. And she's not only that, she's getting domestic abuse by him as well. Yeah.
She just managed to get away from him a few years ago, and it took her a hell of a lot to get away from him. So I've got so much admiration for her. When she was speaking, I've got to say the moderators worked on point and double time while she was speaking, because I think I have an idea of who it was, but she's been targeted quite a lot because she's outed the abuse and she will not stay quiet about it. So because she's been sharing it around everywhere, someone was waiting, or about 3 or 4 people were waiting for her to start speaking, and only while she was speaking, these people put vulgar messages in. They didn't comment before, they didn't comment after, just while she was speaking.
Well, you know what they say, don't you, Kater?
I didn't even manage to read them because the moderators were that fucking on point with everything.
And they knew. Yeah. Well, good, well done, well done. You know, you only get the flack. What is it? You only receive the flack when you're over the target. So she's obviously hitting a nerve here. I mean, she is like,
she's ready for giving up. That's why I want to try and do more work with her, because she's in Northern Ireland and we're all over here. She's struggling a bit.
Well, bless her. It must have been very courageous to do that and explain it. This is how powerful that was, really. If people could be bothered, if you could just take yourself out and just listen to someone else's life and replace your life for theirs just for 5 minutes. And then isn't that a paradigm leveler? I mean, do you have to be? I don't even need to know the paradigm of this lady. I don't need to know the color of the skin of this lady. It could be like you now, just looking at an avatar, a blank screen. If I feel that this lady is being sincere, or a man, then that deserves my ear, my respect, and my help to help it go along. Isn't it funny that as soon as you show an image, that all of a sudden people will then start to make their preconceived notions on whether that person needs respect, needs help? Do you not find that we're in a position like that a lot? It's
100%. I mean, I've always said from the beginning, don't take my word for what I've said. I can show you all the videos that are on YouTube or wherever of what I was actually like with my kids. And they're saying a picture speaks 1,000 words. Well, these videos speak millions of words, and they tell you exactly what I was like with my kids, exactly what my kids thought of me, whether or not they were scared of me or there was any concern there. I'll put.
I tell you what, this stream has been going on for 1 hour 50 minutes, Kater, and to me, it's the longest stream I've done with a guest in a while, because I normally won't do streams this long because it gets laborious no matter what you're talking about. Having said that, I could go on for another hour here. I'm not going to do that because I don't think the world, is in the mood for another hour of Red Pill Phil waffling on. But what I will say is, Kater, I'll let you obviously finish up, but I would really love for you to come back and have regular chats, little updates of what you're doing, and just where you're
at. I'd love to do a show with you on our channel as well.
Yeah. I would love to be involved.
By the way, if you have a look under your camera, you should see that I've got a screen share at the bottom.
Oh yeah. All right. Okay. Can I put this in? Yeah.
Yeah. Add that in. We'll be on it as well. But as I said, you could.
All right. Okay. So this is the technological prowess of Katie Jayne. Look at this. Boom. Boom.
Well, straight after this, if you want, I can put you on the paid version, just like I did with Zero.
Right. Okay. Well, probably not right now, because I'm probably going to have to go and see the wife show.
That's not a problem. But let me know when you're free, and I'll talk you through it.
You know what? I know what I will say. Katie Jayne, right, and many other people over this past week or so, has been helping me technologically to advance a little bit more. Now, Katie Jayne has been this little buzzard, this little polite buzzard in my ear. Do you want me to help you this? Do you want me to ring you up there? And I've been juggling so many different things. I've had a mate saying, I want you to get into this program. I've got another mate who's on here, Mo, who's been saying, I want you to get into OBS. Everyone's sending me tutorials, and I'm like, man, I'm getting a technological fucking brain freeze here. And
I'll talk you through it instead of sending you a video, because it is the majority of it, so it is really, really easy.
Well, what I'll do, we're on Monday tomorrow. Would it be okay to get in touch with you at some point tomorrow afternoon, and we can take an hour out
and
walk through it all?
Of course. By the way, if anyone does want to see what I'm like with my kids and everything, if you go on our YouTube channel, there is actually a playlist called Liam and Christy Home Videos. As I said, Children Matter was built off the kids and who I was with the kids, so it is built off them. Their videos are some of the first ones on there. We do birthday videos and everything for them as well, so it is on there.
Oh, beautiful. This is lovely. What response do you get off women in a similar position?
The problem that we're facing the majority of the time is a remedy for it, and parents ready for giving up because they can't fight anymore, because they dig up anything. They'll throw things at you that don't even exist because you can't prove that they don't exist. It's like, how am I supposed to prove it then?
How many women have you come across that are in denial over it?
I think we're all still in denial over the fact that it's actually happened, to be honest.
Mm.
I mean, Zach's had to deal with me on a couple of occasions, break down, fucking trying to, like, why has this happened? What could I have possibly have done? Coming up with the stupidest of things, like the fact I had reptiles. I mean, when my son was here, we had 15 different reptiles in different tanks, all tame. I worked at a reptile shop, but I practically lived in one as well, to be fair. But you know, I rehomed all my pets in case that was an issue. I had a husky. I rehomed that in case that was one of the issues. I literally changed everything, but every single one of us are still in denial of the fact that we've lost our kids. I don't even know what my daughter looks like or sounds like anymore. She was 1 the last time I saw her. She's 3 now.
Well, when we first started chatting, same again. Look, we're going to go for another hour here because the connection is really high. But when we first started chatting, I remember you were talking that particular month was a hard month. Do you want to talk about that briefly before we?
March is one of the worst months ever, but this year it hit me worse than anything could have ever hit me in my life. I didn't realise that this March on the 8th was going to be the first anniversary since my daughter was officially adopted. And the 10th and the 11th of March are both the 2 days that my son was taken. The first time he was taken was the 11th of March. Second time was the 10th of March, the day before social were due to sign us off. You've got my late fiance who died in a car accident, his birthday on the 25th of March, my daughter's birthday on the 24th of March. My granny, who I don't speak to anymore, who walked away after all this as well. Her birthday is also on the 25th of March. I mean, March is just one day after the other, being bombarded with everything. And I did the demo on the 14th of March, smack bang in the middle of it.
Yeah. Was that a good move in hindsight or a bad move? Was it good?
Yeah, I think it was a good move because people, as I said, the campaign family is my family. By the way, that's in Germany.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, my family is the campaign. And because the 14th of March was right in the middle of where I've been having, everything hit me. Yeah. It was a day my family came together, and that demo was put together for my daughter's birthday. In my mind, I organised it for my daughter's birthday, but it was only for me that it was for her birthday. For everyone else, it was a demo, a day for us to unite for the children. What better day than a child's third birthday?
Well, you obviously have got close family, and when I say family, I mean all your friends and peers around you within the movement. Now, when you were going through this bad month, March, was any of your family members reaching out? Does any of your family members resonate with what that month represents for you?
I don't think they understand, if I'm being honest. It's like my brother did a video for my daughter's birthday one. It's the first one he's ever done. I took my brother's only ever protest that he's ever been to was panel drama. It was while he was training with the RAF. He came back for a visit, so I was like, right, I'm taking you with me. You can hold your nephew's poster. I'll hold your niece's poster. We've got another poster that's ended up going everywhere now. And I took him with me. He stayed completely hooded up with my sunglasses on as well, girly ones. But yeah, but they don't really understand. The thing that I'd push my mum to do anything would be my death. Like, being honest, that would be the only thing to push my mum to coming out and stepping out, because as far as she's concerned, it's not her place, it's mine. I'm their mother. She's my mother. So if anything happens to me, she's going to step up. But until then, she's got to have my back so that I can step up. And I get her logic.
Yeah, but it's
her job as well. She works with social services and that, though. She's a housing officer, so she has to go to meetings with them like once a month.
She works with social services?
Not with them. She's one of the other local authority sort of things, like police, housing, social, called parole officers. Right, okay. They get together like once a month to do like a this meeting thing about what's going on, where, who needs help, who to keep an eye on and shit like that. Because my mum's a housing officer, she goes to those meetings. She was actually targeted by the social worker who took my daughter. He came into a meeting that she was in and kicked off and ended up getting her escorted out of the building by police. And she was told that she wasn't allowed to go into work until they'd done thorough checks on her. And she's back working in that now, but that was a prompt to shut me up, though. Not to do anything to her, but to get at me because I was protesting outside their building constantly.
Well, why? This might be an intrusive question. I might have the angle wrong here.
There's no such thing as intrusive, don't worry.
Well, what is puzzling? It's your mother. You've actually said she works in the field that you've had the problem with, but yet she still can't see it from your angle.
Oh no, she willingly would work with them. She told my brother at one point that social had told her that I was being sectioned, that she was going to get my son and they were going to move her to a different town and get a restraining order on me. I found that out because I suffered from PTSD when my late fiance was killed in front of me. I've suffered with PTSD because of that. Non-medicated, I deal with it myself. I just have a twitchy leg, and sometimes I have struggle sleeping because I'm next to a dual carriageway. But other than that, I don't really have any major issues. And I phoned my brother up to tell my brother, I'm buzzing. I get to hand this note into social to tell them that there's no need for them to be involved, that there's nothing wrong with me. I handle everything fine. And he went, you what? Well, mum's just told me this, and that's what he told me. And I fucking blew my rag because my mum didn't realise that me and my brother were still talking, and my brother would still talk to me regardless of what she said to him.
What a thing, though. I mean, isn't a mother supposed to have nurturing qualities at that point? I mean, fucking hell.
Me and my brother reckon that she was happy to get Liam because she'd get a second chance. Because with my brother, she left him in the UK while she moved to Germany. With me, she's put every guy she's been with before me, and I've made her pay for it, in a childish, immature way. But I'm her daughter, not her sister. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a sad story, but it's a sad story that's got a really good ending, as far as I'm concerned, because it's made you the person that you are. And when I said to everybody at the very beginning, make a note of this young lady's age, even though it's very rude to start extracting the age of a lady online, Phil. So
it doesn't bother me. If you look at my medical records, you think I was fucking 70. Jesus Christ.
Well, you've lived the life of one. I'm telling you, honestly, you've had the hard knocks of life. And
I've got to say though, I do adore my mum. I do love my mum. We've had our massive downs, and we don't exactly have many ups anymore. But I do love her. I wouldn't be as level-headed, as responsible as I am now if she hadn't have raised me, if the shit that happened hadn't have happened. And she has bailed me out of shitloads of situations. She rescued me from my son's dad, and then after my late fiance died, she came back and rescued me again. She's always been there, whether I've liked it or not. We just don't necessarily get along with each other or agree with each other near enough at all.
Well, fair enough. But you know what? It's not stopped you moving forward. And that's really all that matters, isn't it, on a personal level? Even though, I mean, what you're saying here is very indicative of what a lot of people will be thinking. There's fractures, dysfunctionality within all kinds of families, and probably family connections and alignments that people can't understand. Why did they do this to me? Why we're not like this? So what you're going through is very common. I've got issues of a similar trait within my own family. I don't speak to any of my family members apart from one who lives in France, and I'm one of 7. And then the other 6 have all had children. So I've got a massive family that I don't speak to because essentially of certain issues like yourself, just dysfunctionality. So what I would like to say is thank you for being so candid and open about this. I think a lot of people will get a lot from it. Essentially, I hope you've enjoyed the chat.
I have done. I really have. I mean, I've been able to obviously talk about things in a light-mannered way. And can I just address Cockney Patriot quick? Yes. I mean, she did fight for my kids, just not to get them back with me. And now, since everything's happened and everything's, started to settle down and we've both matured and after everything that's happened, if she didn't back me, I probably wouldn't be doing things the way I am and how I am. And I probably wouldn't be as confident because, she built me with a pair of bollocks. She made sure I wasn't light-skinned. I was thick-skinned. And as Jack keeps pointing out, I grew up ginger, as he never lets me forget, along with my brother.
What's he like here? He's compounded it. Come on, Zach. You know what I mean? You're going to pay for this, Zach, somewhere down the line.
Hell yeah, he will. He seems to forget 123 quid's worth of fish, plus the fucking new 60 as well.
Your fish are going to be able to ransom here, Zach. Zach Jolly. Ain't going to be so jolly in an hour's time, let me tell you, mate. That's going to come back and bite you on the ass, let me tell you.
It will do, because I talked to his mum now. Me and his mum are mates because we're both called Cat, so I'll just phone her.
Oh, look, mate, Zach, you're gonna regret that. One thing I will say, right? There was a chap I watched on a program, and he was as ginger as you'd like, right? And you know what he used to say in order to explain the tint of his tone of his color of his hair? He used to say, "My hair's not ginger. My hair is African sunset."
Well, I'm going to see if I can show you Liam's godmother. But I'm gonna have to go on my other profile to do it, because if anyone thinks I'm ginger, right? I love this girl to bits. Absolutely adore her. She's been my rock through everything growing up and that. Oh, I'll see if I can find it quick now. But yeah, she's a proper copper top, orange hair, but got the attitude to match. If anyone is interested, this is actually these ones. Yeah. That's the day Christy was adopted. That's actually in the court.
Wow.
And then that's outside the court at the same time.
Bloody hell, that must have been a hard day for you.
I was representing myself in court and going outside and running a protest.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, that was a fucking hard day. I had to keep myself composed the entire time, because when I was in court, I had to stay composed. And when I was outside, I had to stay composed, because otherwise, who wants to see a blubbering mess when you're trying to actually get some information out there? Sometimes... Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah. Well, protesting as well, you've got to have your composure, because otherwise the message can be lost, really, and it can actually work against you rather than for you. It's all right protesting because you're outraged, but there's an element of being positive when you're doing it as well, in order to get that message and make it worthwhile doing what you're doing. Otherwise, you're not wasting your time somewhat, if you're just ranting and raving and screaming and whatnot.
100%. I can't find that video. There's videos where I know she's in the background. But if you'd like to see what I used to be like before social got involved, well, this is actually me in a mother and baby unit. Where's it just gone now? Why has it done that? I had it then. Yeah, there's a video actually on Jason fucking loves it, because it's to the soundtrack What Does a Fox Say?
What does a fox say?
Oh, I'm not going there.
Oh, right, okay.
But yeah, it's that song.
What song?
You don't know the song? What Does the Fox Say?
No. Who Let the Dogs Out? I know that one.
It came out ages ago, and I was in Germany at the time, and we just got all the kids down, so all the mums were about to go out on the balcony for a smoke, and they just finished. They were rolling cigs, and while we were getting ready, they were trying to get me to translate songs from German to English and English to German, and this came on, and I just started dancing with it. With my crutches.
You're having it. Look, yes. Look at this. What's going on here?
That is a single mom who's finally got a kid down for the night.
Yes, shimmying away. Look, yes. Yeah. Oh, look.
I'd only just realised the camera was on at that point, because they went, "Look at the camera." So I turned around, seeing it. I was like, "Yeah." And they went, "Did you not notice?" I was like, "No."
Oh, that is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Well, you know what? I'm really going to have to wrap this up now, because I'm going to end up getting a divorce if I don't. Honestly.
That's fine. That's fine. I need to phone Jack in that anyway.
Yeah, well, Zach has just said he can talk his way out of anything. So, mate,
he thinks he can.
Get it on. Yeah, well, let's do it. Let's do it, mate. You're on it. I think your talking is going to have to start 5 minutes from now. So, is there any last words you'd like to say to wrap this up?
Honestly, just give us a chance to hear what we're about and what's happened to us. Don't just shrug us off. Don't assume that there's no smoke without fire. We're here for a reason. We don't want to be here. If someone else steps up and takes the baton, then fucking we'll give them the baton to pass on, because this is a burden to do. It's painful to do, but we love doing it at the same time because it's getting done. Just give us a chance. Don't take anyone for granted. Don't judge the book by the cover. Just give someone a chance. And remember, we may not be related through blood, but we are related through trauma.
Yeah, indeed. And abuse is abuse. If you look in anyone's eyes and know that they've been abused, you should be able to resonate with that. You should not just switch off because it doesn't suit the style of abuse that you want. And that ultimately is where I'm going to leave it. I don't really give a shit. I'm all up for supporting anyone who is doing it in a positive way and trying to talk about the points. Unfortunately, in this world, that it does come that a lot of the powerful people that I've spoke to within this movement that are eloquent enough to have an opinion to talk about it, they're actually victims of abuse themselves. And it's sad. It's so sad that you have got to become a victim to be able to speak with this, about this, resonate and get people to listen. It shouldn't have to happen to you. It shouldn't have to happen to any one of your family members for you to wake up and take notice and give a shit. So that's my kind of little rant there anyway. But fully support what you're doing. Any help I can give you in any way moving forward. I can't wait to get off this bleeding lockdown, because then we can actually get together and do this proper walk and talk around all the key spots of your local area like we wanted to do.
Yeah, because you know this area pretty well as well, so it'd be fun.
I was born in Hope Hall Hospital. Yes, I'm a Salford head by heart. And then my mother and father swiftly moved over to Miles Platting. So
Don't blame them.
Yeah, well, my feet didn't touch the ground, apparently. You know what I mean? But I've got an affinity with Salford. I really have, because it was the place of my birth. So yeah, I would love to go back there and have a proper walk round and see it from your perspective as well. So I'd like to say thank you for taking this time out. It's been a hell of a long stream. You had a hell of a long stream yesterday. So you've had a proper marathon over this weekend.
Oh, it's my second one today. I'm loving it.
Oh, wow. And you've still got a big smile on your face. I'm knackered. I just want to go upstairs. Well, all right, that's me done now. I'm not doing another video for 3 days. You just got oodles of energy, and it's so infectious. It's brilliant.
When I get in the zone, I'm in the zone for a while, and then, as Zach knows, I'll just crash and burn for sometimes a couple of weeks, at the worst a couple of months. But yeah. I do have my moments, so I try and get as much in as I can while I can before my depression creeps in again. So yesterday and today's given me a big boost.
Well, so it should. And so it should. I'm going to congratulate it, and no doubt everyone on here will do the same for what you've done, what you've tried to achieve. Even if this goes nowhere, what you tried, it's the idea that people should be looking at, not the characters, not whatever, the idea. If the idea can manifest into something, even if it doesn't involve you 5 years down the line, you can go, shit, right, look what it can grow into. So hats off to you. And I think other people should support the initiative, no matter what their persuasion, and just look at it, you know.
Plus, give the channel a chance, because there's so many different admin on there from so many different causes. You might not like my videos, you might not like Zero's videos or any of the others, but there'll probably be something there that you do like, one of the other speakers there that you do like, and you know, like their videos of. So give it a chance, have a look through the playlist, because all the admin have got videos on there. So you might encourage them to come and do more videos as well.
It'd be great. You can see a nice little collaboration forming, you know? And if everyone's on the same page, there's no reason why it can't get bigger and bigger and start to turn more positivity into what we used to call the movement. Because I think that is more important at this time than anything else, Katie, you know what I mean? So brilliant, excellent work. Thank you very much to everyone involved in giving us really good content yesterday, and keep it going. Keep on that same vein. That's what I'd say.
Thanks, Phil. Thank you for having me on as well, for the chat as well. Like, your advice really does, like, it helps a lot. So I do really appreciate you.
Anytime. And I know we will be working closer together in the future as well, and with all the other people that you've got working with you. We should
100%. I'm hoping that you and Zero will bring the news part to we've got the Children Matter part. We're missing the news part, and you and Zero, like the way you do things, your talent, everything you put together, it's just above and beyond, and we'd love to help you get your voice heard more as well.
Oh, brilliant. Mutual, innit? It's mutually beneficial for everyone. Excellent. Right. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's had the stamina to sit through a 2 hour, 14-minute stream. That is mammoth. It just shows how much respect that people have got for you. It's not me they're tuning in for. They want to listen to Katie Jayne Swallow. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. Please share the work that Katie Jayne and all the rest are doing. And I guess it won't be too long before you're up again posting other positive stuff and keeping moving forward, yeah?
100%. And if there's anyone who spoke yesterday that you'd like to get in touch with and everything, let me know if I can help and make that happen in any way. I'm there.
Excellente. Right, well, with that, I'm going to say what I normally say. I'm going to say, Katie, it's been an absolute charm to have you on my channel. I've enjoyed every minute of it. And I'm going to finish by saying, I love you all, even the pissing haters. Thank you very much. God bless. Keep yourself safe and stay positive, whatever is going on in your life. Thanks a lot, Katie. You are a gem.
I know it. Thank you.
See you later, guys. Thanks, Great Brit, and all the rest of yous. Love yous. Excellent.
You